What's up, everybody? This week we're going to start a new series called Tour My Tackle Box. This is going to be the Walleye Jigs edition. If that sounds interesting to you, stick with us. Alright, so as I said, this is going to be a new series we're going to call Tour My Tackle Box, I think. And this week I'm just going to open up my walleye jig boxes. I didn't organize them, I didn't sort through them. I'm just going to open them up and we're just going to show you what's in them because we're going to be needing those soon, so I figured it'd be a good time to do it. A quick note on why we're not fishing this week. Torrential flood last week. Water's all messed up. Nobody's really doing anything. Weather's getting better. I did make it out on the water opening day of duck season. A couple dozen casts on a 36-degree morning. There was ice on my boat cover. I was gonna scoop up the ducks for my friends when they shot them, but no ducks were harmed. Good times were had, but it was really, really cold and no fish were biting. I'm weaving around duck blinds here. I'm just gonna try to fish while I wait for them to shoot a duck. That's the story of the weekend. Thanks for tuning in. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. We're doing crazy stuff like this all the time. We're gonna get on to the topic of the day, which is walleye jigs. Alright, so as promised, today's topic is walleye jigs. We're going to tour my tackle box today. It's just a new idea I got to kind of bring something different to the channel besides me just catching fish after fish all the time. We're going to do something different. We're going to start a new trend. We're going to go through these jig boxes. I haven't organized them. I haven't looked through them ahead of time. We're just going to open them up. We're just going to show you what's in them. I am carrying 3 jig boxes in the boat, basically year round. And those 3 jig boxes are as follows. The big jig box, which is 3/4 ounces and up for St. Clair and Detroit, which I don't get down to fish very often, but I have a box of jigs just in case I do. The second box is what I call the normal size jigs, which is, for my home waters of the Saginaw River, 3/8 ounce jigs, occasionally 1/2 ounce jigs. That's what this box contains. That's the box I'm in most. That's the box we'll probably talk about the most. And the third jig box is the lightweight jigs, and that's all the 1/4s and 1/8s and maybe a few 1/16ths. 1/4 ounce jigs are like split shot to me. I use hundreds of them a year. I keep bags of them all over the place. I've got bags, little bags stashed all over the place of 1/4 ounce jigs. So that's the third box. It's small jigs, lightweight jigs, mostly for pitching, casting, and occasionally slip bobber, maybe jigging or drifting, that type of thing. So those are the 3 jig boxes you can get by 99% of your walleye fishing in this area, and I imagine a lot of other areas with those 3 jig boxes. So now we're going to go through each jig box. I'll open them up and we'll see what's in them. Alright, so the first jig box is the 3/4 ounce jigs. Mostly 3/4 ounce. There's some 5/8 ounce in here. So we'll just start in the corner real quick. I'm just going to rip through this really quickly. Walleye jigs is a pretty simple topic with a lot of little details that you can get complicated about if you want to talk about it. The only thing I care about when I'm talking about jigs is these hooks. I want a big, strong, nasty hook. That's what I want. I want a big hook. These are probably 2/0 hooks at least. These are probably 3/0 hooks. Here's some 5/8 walleye heads, unpainted. I do not know why those are even in the box, but they're there in case I need them. All of these jigs up here in the upper part of the box are from a guy that I found on Facebook. They are awesome. They are ultra minnow head, so they're a narrow profile jig for jigging strong current, deep water. You want that thin jig. These are some nice jigs. He does a really nice paint jobs, but I don't think fish are that smart, so I just go general colors. The color of the jig is not important to me. These are all from a guy named Tony Smoker. Like I said, really fancy paint jobs. Really nice looking jigs, really nice looking hooks. Hooks is the most important thing. The rest of these jigs here, these are called eye slammer jigs from Sportsman's Direct. They make them in a bunch of big heavy sizes. That's a pretty good jig to have. They come with a wire keeper on them for your plastics if you want to put a wire keeper in your plastic. I like the purples, I like the June bug, the antifreeze. Antifreeze jigs are always nice. So that's my big river jig box. There's not much to say about it because I don't get down there very often, but when I do, this box will do. The second jig box, which I call the normal jig box, has the most jigs in it. And this box is all 3/8 ounce, and there are some 1/2 ounces in here. We'll just go through this box really quickly. This whole top row is going to be half ouncers. There's a few fireballs mixed in here that probably shouldn't be in here, but these are big half ounce, and most of these are your standard walleye jigs. But what you're going to find in this box is most of these jigs are Northland RZ jigs. Northland RZ jigs have a really good hook on them. They have a hook with a big gap, and it's a strong hook. And this is just sort of your standard round ball walleye jig. So I have a ton of RZ jigs. I'll show you a different package here in a second. And a lot of these are RZ jigs in different sizes. You will find, you won't find too many cheap bronze hooks. I don't do cheap bronze hooks on jigs unless I'm throwing into wood. So most of these jigs are just all either repaints or RZ jigs. Some of these are half ounce Sportsman's Direct. These are half ounce Sportsman's Direct icicle jigs. Icicle jigs have like a 4/0 hook on them. So I'm all about the 4/0 hook. I don't do small hooks. I'm going to say that about 10 times. I don't do small, I don't do cheap hooks on jigs. I do good hooks. That's the number one most important thing. So mostly normal walleye jigs. This one here is an oddball. These are old Bass Pro XPS walleye jigs that you cannot get anymore. A real cool jig with a flat bottom and a stand-up style. Really, really strong hook on these. Extremely strong hook. That's what was so good about these back in the day. You can't get those anymore, but I did notice that just recently Strike King's coming out with these jigs again. Same exact shape, although they're coming with a cupped bottom now. So they kind of, they push water down even more, and they got more of a hover to them. That's what's good about these flat bottom jigs, is they give you more water resistance when you're putting it down. They drop slower, and they have a stand-up, semi-stand-up head, which is awesome anyway. So I think it's Strike King, Tommy Kimos. They're coming out with these jigs. Probably nobody has them because they're so new. So that's kind of cool, something to look out for. The rest of my jigs and the main jigs that I use all the time, I just ordered a bunch last night because I'm low, are going to be Sportsman's Direct icicle jigs. Big 3/0 hook on these, sickle hook on them. Love the purple ice, the blue ice. I like the June bug, New Orleans type color. Really like these jigs. I use these jigs all the time. You guys have probably seen in videos. And it's just a normal round ball jig, but the key is big nasty hook. Love it. So I love the Sportsman's Direct icicle jigs, and I use those quite a bit. All these in the bags, these are all 3/8. I'll show you some of these more. There's pinks, there's greens, there's antifreeze, purple ice, blue ice. I love all those things. And then, like I said, Northland RZ jigs. RZ jigs are awesome. Everybody loves them because they have a nice hook on them, big gap, and they come in some really good colors. So you got watermelon. There's a watermelon. There's not very many left. There's why, and there's a good reason why there's no watermelon left, because everybody knows watermelon jigs rule around here. Watermelon, Parrot, Glow, Fire Tiger, and Moon something. Moon Glow or something like that. That's a blue color, but yeah, Fire Tiger RZ jigs, love it. Lots and lots of RZ jigs, and that pretty much rounds out the 3/8 box. Here's some 3/8s that have a 2/0 hook on them. Don't really care for it. Hook's too small. They're going to be riding the bench over here in the corner for quite some time, if they ever get used. So that's the 3/8 box. That's the box for sort of your medium rivers, your medium river current. Moving on to the lightweight box. Alright, so this is the light jig box, and most of them are not in here, and this box is a total wrecked mess. But I go through hundreds of 1/4 ounce jigs every year. So I buy these Jan's Netcraft Dominator jigs. Pretty cheap jig, but not the cheapest hook you'll ever find. So they're decent, and they do the job for the price. Finding a good 1/4 ounce jig with a good hook on it in the walleye world is probably impossible. There are some 1/8 ounce jigs in here for when you have to do that really light pitching junk, and these are all just Northland 1/8 ounce jigs. You gotta, I think every walleye guy's probably got a stock of walleye or 1/8 ounce jigs in this box. A whole bunch of blank Sportsman's Direct 1/4 ounce icicle jigs. I kind of use these when I'm throwing into snaggy river spots or snags, and I just don't care about, you know, don't care about losing them because I have so many of them. What else? See, Northland 16th ounce sinking jigs if you had to hang a leech below a slip bobber. And that's pretty much it. You can, you know, I like to take 1/4 ounce jigs, put them on a beetle spin, give them a cast through the weeds. Stuff works really good. 1/4 ounce jigs are everything. We put them on swim tails and cast them all fall. So that's the 1/4 ounce jig box. You hope to not have to get into that less than 1/4 ounce stuff too often. So those are my 3 jig boxes. So there are some miscellaneous jigs where you didn't talk about, like swim bait heads, weedless jigs, ice fishing jigs, short shank Northland fireball jigs, and those really don't get put in these boxes because they don't usually get used at the same time these jigs get used. They kind of go in their own boxes. So you can have a 4th box, I guess, of jigs if you want to include those. I get by with 3 boxes of jigs plus some specialty jigs. So let me know if you thought this video was worthwhile. Do you think we should do more Tour My Tackle boxes? Here's what I think you should do. I think you should get out your phone right now, you whip out your jig box, you do exactly what I just did, you upload it to YouTube, you put a link in the comments below, we can all watch and see what's in your jig box. Tell me if I should do more of these. What should be the next Tour My Tackle box? Let me know. Hit the like button, subscribe, do all those things YouTubers tell you to do. Until next time, I'll holler at ya.